This is my video update on this Wednesday morning, August the 7th. Let's talk about some news. And the big story from yesterday was that Kamala Harris has picked her vice president, her running mate, and it is Tim Walz from Minnesota. This was a bit of a surprise for a lot of people. She did not go with Shapiro from Pennsylvania, did not go with Mark Kelly, and Kamala Harris decided to go with Minnesota's Walz. So it looks like Kamala and the Democratic Party, they are looking to win Minnesota and Wisconsin. Perhaps they're hoping that they can get Michigan as well. And maybe they feel that they can get Pennsylvania without Shapiro. I guess that's the strategy by going with Walz. So the Trump campaign is actually very, very happy about this pick. They were worried about Shapiro and Pennsylvania, losing Pennsylvania. They seem to be a lot happier with the fact that Kamala picked Walz. We'll see how this plays out. We will see how all of this plays out. Here's a tweet from Douglas McKay. Kamala Walz is giving off strong 1984 vibes, like Mondale Ferraro, but with Ferraro at the top of the ticket. Interesting post. So let's talk about the Ukraine invasion of Russia. Can we talk about this incursion, this invasion that Zelensky is launching into Russian territory, into the region of Kursk? I talked about this yesterday, and it started out with an incursion of about 300 soldiers, and the Russian Ministry of Defense said that they annihilated half of these soldiers, destroyed the tanks that were moving into Kursk, and it seemed like that was it, but that was not it. This has actually turned into a much bigger operation than what it appeared yesterday. And actually, this operation is somewhere around 3,000 to 4,000 soldiers, air defense systems, a lot of vehicles, tanks, and drones, a lot of drones as well. And the Ukraine military, the latest reports were that the Ukraine military, they have actually made their way into the Kursk region. They've dug into the village town area of Sudza, where there is a pipeline, by the way. And the Russian military is now working to push back those Ukraine forces. You get some reports saying that the Ukraine military captured various villages, or is about to capture various villages in Russian territory, and that they're going to try to advance towards the Kursk nuclear power plant. There are reports saying that the objective of this operation is to get close to the Kursk nuclear power plant and to start shelling that power plant in order to exert leverage over the Russian government. There are other reports saying that the objective of this incursion is to destroy this Sudza pipeline, which I believe is not active. I don't think this pipeline has been active for a while now, but there are reports saying that that's what the objective of this operation is. I believe the objective of this operation is, as I said yesterday, this is just about getting media attention back onto Zelensky. And perhaps this is also about distracting attention away from the fact that the Russian military continues to annihilate the Ukraine military in the Donbass. And yesterday, the Russian military, they captured The very, very strategic, very important town of New York, New York, but the Ukrainian New York. The the posts on Twitter X are actually kind of funny in a way because they say that the Russian army raised a flag over New York. So you read a headline like that and you're like, what? But no, the Ukrainian town village of New York. And some reports say that the Russians are close to capturing the entire town. Other reports say that the Russians have captured 60 to 70% of the town, and the capture of the town in its entirety is coming any day now. But perhaps this incursion is also meant as a way to distract from the terrible losses that Ukraine is suffering in the important part of the war, which is in Donbass. But we'll see what's going to happen. We will see what's going to happen in the Kursk region. There's no doubt that the Ukraine military has, in a way, I don't want to say they surprised the Russian military, but they have made progress in this area. But I think a lot of reports about Ukraine marching further into Kursk, I don't think that's going to happen. We'll see. I believe the Russian military, they will get everything under control. The reports this morning are that the Russian military is working on the Ukraine military in this area, and it's going to be a tough battle. But it doesn't seem like the Russian military is in a panic or anything like that. Ukraine did manage to knock down a couple of helicopters, and there are some reports that they have captured some Russian conscripts, like around 30 Russian conscripts were captured in this incursion. But I believe that eventually, over the next couple of days or couple of weeks, this will be another failed Ukraine attempt to enter Russian territory and to accomplish something, whatever they're trying to accomplish, whatever stunt the Zelensky regime is trying to accomplish. They've done this half a dozen times over the past 2 years, and every time it has ended in failure. You even have Ukraine military analysts, reporters who are very pro-Ukrainian, talking about how this is a waste of resources for Ukraine, and they're very upset that as Donbass crumbles and as the Ukraine military is being annihilated in Donbass and New York is being captured by the Russian military, Zelensky pulls a stunt like this, where he enters the Kursk region, and the military assets, the soldiers, the artillery, everything could have been better used to reinforce the front lines in an area like New York, to reinforce defenses in an area like New York. So you have a lot of very, very pro-Ukraine analysts and reporters upset with this stunt from Zelensky. People like Julian Rupke, who I believe reports for Bild, he's actually lashing out at NAFO, and he's lashing out at the Zelensky regime, saying this is stupid. What are you guys doing, trying to invade Russian territory while New York is crumbling? This is dumb. This serves no military strategic objective. There's no purpose in this, and eventually Russia is going to knock you out, which is true. Eventually Russia is going to knock them out of whatever territory Ukraine manages to get a hold of for however limited a time. There's no doubt that Russia is going to knock them out of that territory. Ukraine is going to suffer heavy, horrendous losses. I've read reports saying that Ukraine has already suffered very heavy losses in Kursk, but they keep on sending reinforcements. And those reinforcements are probably better used in Donbass. But you have people like Julian Rapke, very upset with the Zelensky regime. And he's super pro-Zelensky. Like, we're talking uber, super duper, I love Zelensky, pro-Zelensky Bild reporter. You have people like David Axe from Forbes. David Axe is as pro-Ukraine you can get, man. This guy is in love with the man in the green T-shirt, and he's upset. He's upset that Ukraine is pulling this stunt in Kursk. He put an article out on Forbes with the title "Pro-Ukrainian Russian Troops in U.S. Made," this is a weird title. One second, everybody. Pro-Ukrainian Russian troops in U.S. made Stryker vehicles just launched a pointless invasion of Russia. Meanwhile, Ukrainian defenses crumble for a want of manpower. Who authorized the Liberty of Russia Legion's wasteful cross-border attack? The reason I paused there as I was reading this title is because David Axe is saying this is a pro-Ukrainian Russian troops, which is false. All the reports are saying that this is the real Ukraine military. Remember in the past, like a year ago, some of the incursions into Russia allegedly were from these pro-Ukrainian, anti-Putin soldiers. That's how they were branding them, and they were saying that these are the guys that are launching incursions into Ukraine. In this instance, this is not pro-Ukrainian Russian troops. All the reports say that this is the proper Ukraine military. So I don't know why David Axe is running with a title like this. Maybe he's trying to provide some cover for the Zelensky regime. Even today, even with this debacle, with this stupid move by the Zelensky regime, by the Ukraine military to enter Kursk, David Axe looks like he's still trying to provide some cover for the man in the green T-shirt by saying these are pro-Ukrainian Russian troops. That's false. That is false. This is the real Ukraine freaking military that is trying to invade Russia and cause some trouble in Kursk. Maybe take out the pipeline, maybe threaten the nuclear power plant. Anyway, let's see here. Axe says this in his article. It's a familiar pattern. Pro-Ukrainian Russian fighters have launched many border raids throughout Russia's 29-month wider war on Ukraine. None of these raids have resulted in Ukraine holding any new ground. The Liberty of Russia Legion, this is false. This is the real Ukraine military. The Liberty of Russia Legion is almost certain to withdraw from Sudza within days, if not hours. Its cross-border raid will quickly become a tiny footnote in the much bigger story of the Russia-Ukraine war. Now imagine if the Legion had helped the 41st and 53rd Mechanized Brigades hold New York instead. What was I saying? He's saying this is the Legion, whatever. Basically what Axe is saying in this article is, what if this Ukraine military force was actually used to help the defenses in New York. So that's what's going on in this battle in Kursk. It could take a couple of days. David Axe says it could happen in a couple of hours or a couple of days, that these Ukrainian forces will be defeated. But it could take weeks. We'll see. From what I've read, they're pretty dug in. They're pretty dug into this area, but we'll see. Eventually, Russia's going to annihilate all of these Ukrainian soldiers and all of the weapons and tanks and fighting vehicles. It's all going to be annihilated. All the air defenses that they've moved into the area, it's all going to be annihilated, whether it's in a few hours or a couple of weeks. And that'll be it. Meanwhile, in Donbass, in areas like New York, Russia continues to annihilate and grind down the Ukraine military. What a waste of resources from the Zelensky regime. Because for Zelensky, the most important thing is media optics. The second most important thing is media optics. We all know what the most important thing is for Zelensky. So this is the second most important thing, media optics. Zelensky's looking to get some attention on Ukraine, because all the attention is on Tim Walz and Israel, Iran, and stuff like that. Anyway, Shoigu, he was in Tehran, actually, in Iran, and then he went to Azerbaijan, and he delivered a message to Azerbaijan. I'm curious what that message was. And as he was in Azerbaijan, Shoigu, he said that in the last 2 months, the Ukraine military has lost 115,000 troops. That is in 2 months. Let me read you. I think I have it bookmarked. 1 second. Let me read you Shoigu's statement. Here we go. Russian security chief reveals Ukraine's military losses. The Ukraine military has lost more than 115,000 servicemen in the conflict with Moscow over the past 2 months, Russian Security Council Secretary Sergei Shoigu has said. I wonder if this 115,000, is this KIA or casualties? He doesn't say, but 115,000 is the number that Shoigu told reporters. Here's a quote from Shoigu. All this could have been stopped if the demands set out by our president had been met by Ukraine. Therefore, our position is clear. The troops are moving forward. Shoigu stated that every day of delay in making such a decision on negotiations results in the loss of control by Kiev over another part of territory that the Ukrainians consider theirs. And most importantly, the loss of thousands of human lives. The Ukrainian people are paying a high price for the illusion of Zelensky and his associates that the Europeans will organize another beautiful peace summit for Kiev, at which all their internal problems will resolve themselves, he added. The window of opportunity for Ukraine is narrowing. The choice is up to the Ukrainian people, the Secretary of the Security Council warned. It's quite an interesting statement from Shoigu, huh? So the European Union, while all of this is going on, all of the fighting in Ukraine continues, the European Union, they are importing more Russian gas than last year. I was going to say than ever before, but that's not true. They are importing more Russian gas than last year, doubling their imports of Russian gas. This is Russian gas LNG, as well as pipelined Russian gas via Turk Stream. France is importing a ton of LNG from Russia. They're really ramping up their imports of Russian liquefied natural gas. Data from the nonprofit IEEFA. They are saying that French companies imported almost 4.4 billion cubic meters of Russian LNG between January and June, compared to more than 2 BCM in the same period last year. Spain and Belgium were the next biggest buyers, with data showing a 1% and 16% decline, respectively, the IEEFA said. So France is really ramping up the import of Russian LNG. According to Total Energies, the French energy company, they are actually importing the Russian LNG, is what they told the Associated Press, because they are bound under contract to import the Russian LNG. I don't know if I believe that, because they're under contract, they need the LNG. The European Union and EU companies are perfectly fine breaking contracts. They have broken many contracts in the past. But that's the excuse that France and Total Energies is running with. France is just trying to stockpile its gas for the winter. That's it. So it's doubling its import of LNG, and the pipeline gas from Turk Stream is also increasing as well. So for all of the talk about sanctions and not funding Putin's war machine, Russia's economy is in tatters. We will not finance Putin's war machine. They are financing Putin's war machine by continuing to import Russian gas. Turkey is the big winner as far as the pipeline goes, huh? Turkey is the real big winner, because the two ways that the pipeline gas gets to Europe right now is via Ukraine or via Turk Stream. Turk Stream reaches, I believe it reaches Greece, Bulgaria, and then it goes into the rest of of Europe, and then you have the transit via Ukraine. But the transit via Ukraine, that is ending at the end of the year, and Ukraine said they're not going to renew the transit of Russian gas from their pipeline. So the only game in town is going to be Turk Stream. Erdogan is going to control gas supplies to Europe. How about that, huh? Erdogan is going to be Europe's gas king. Good job, EU. Good job. You have placed your energy needs in the hands of Erdogan. Oh boy. So what else? What else should we talk about? What else do we have going on? 1 second here. So let's talk a little bit about what is happening with Iran and Israel. It's now Wednesday. There has not been an Iranian retaliation. And we are getting reports that there may not be a big Iranian retaliation. The reports today, now, I don't know how reliable these reports are. So let me just say that. This could not be reliable reporting, but maybe it is. But according to the Times of Israel, and a lot of outlets are now picking up this reporting, the attack against Israel, the retaliation against Israel, might be a lot more moderated than we initially thought. And this is because Iran is being convinced. I'm trying to think of a better word, but I can't think of a better word. The United States, the collective West, they're using diplomacy to make the point to Iran that this was indeed a bomb planted where Haniyeh was staying, and it was planted by IRGC agents who Mossad recruited, and they planted this bomb a couple of days before Haniyeh was going to stay at this location, and then the bomb was detonated via remote, detonated remotely by a robot, according to the Times of Israel. And basically, what U.S. diplomacy is trying to do is they're telling Iran, look, you're going to retaliate, but moderate that retaliation, because this wasn't a missile strike or this wasn't any type of projectile that entered your capital city and took out Haniyeh. This was a bomb that was planted, Mossad agents. So yes, it was an attack. Yes, you're going to respond and retaliate. But the fact that it wasn't a missile entering into your capital city makes a difference. So it doesn't warrant as big as a retaliation as it doesn't warrant a big retaliation in the instance of a missile coming into Tehran. In this case, a bomb placed into the residency of Haniyeh. You could say this was a terrorist act. You can retaliate, but we shouldn't go to an all-out war because Mossad managed to place a bomb in this location. That's basically the argument that U.S. diplomacy is making with Iran. Interesting, huh? Let me read you what the Times of Israel is reporting. IRGC agents recruited by Mossad put bomb under Haniyeh's bed hours before killing. Report. The bomb that killed Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh at Tehran guest house was planted hours before he was assassinated by 2 Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps agents recruited by the Mossad, and not weeks or months in advance, according to a report in the Jewish Chronicle. The unsourced report says the 2 Iranian members of the IRGC's Ansar al-Mati protection unit were in and out of Haniyeh's room in a matter of minutes and were let out of the compound without raising any suspicions. The Mossad then reportedly smuggled them out of the country an hour later. The report also says the bomb was placed under Haniyeh's bed and detonated remotely by a robot. What do you guys think? Do you believe this story? Interesting. Very interesting. Let's wait a day or two and see if we get more reporting about the fact that this was a bomb placed hours before Haniyeh stayed in this building, and not months. That would, I mean, it does make sense that would mean that Iran would have to moderate its retaliation and not go so hard against Israel. Maybe we're seeing an off ramp, even if this is not true. Even if it was a missile or a projectile. Remember, the Revolutionary Guard, they said this was a missile projectile. Of course, they could be saying this is a missile or projectile because they don't want to admit that some of their guys were compromised by Mossad. So there could be all kinds of stuff going on here. But maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe whatever the truth is, perhaps what we're seeing is a way to create some sort of off ramp, so that we don't have a huge war. Perhaps we'll see. We'll wait and see. Of course, this could all be fake news and bad reporting, and maybe we are going to get a big retaliation from Iran. We'll see. We will see. So let's talk about the UK. The UK and Keir Starmer. He is going to charge rioters with terrorism, terror charges. Rioters to face terror charges, warns top prosecutor. Director of Public Prosecutions considers terror offenses for those who plan serious disruption with purpose of advancing ideology. So basically, what Keir Starmer is going to do is he is going to charge UK citizens as terrorists. Way to go, Keir Starmer. That's going to help the situation. That's going to really help calm things down, right? Right. Keir Starmer doing as his WEF globalist masters tell him to do. Man, I don't think Keir Starmer is going to last very long. Then again, who's going to replace Keir Starmer? That's the problem. So let's enter clown world territory. One more story. Google is a monopoly, everybody. A U.S. court, they have ruled that Google search is indeed a monopoly. This is actually a big story. This is a huge story. It's not geopolitics. It's business and big tech, but it's still a big story. An antitrust lawsuit brought by the Trump administration, I believe, in 2020. They have finally ruled that Google search is indeed a monopoly. Basically, what Google does is that they pay big platforms, device manufacturers, Apple, Samsung, other big device manufacturers and platforms. They pay them so that Google can feature as the default search engine, and they make it difficult for competition in the search business. And so this is a big case, a big ruling. Google is indeed a monopoly. From what I understand, Google is going to appeal this decision. It's going to make its way through the courts for the next couple of years. But this could mean that in 5 years, maybe longer, maybe less, we could see the possible breakup of Alphabet. Possible. I don't want to say definite, because I think we still have some years to go, but this could be the possible breakup of Alphabet. What is going to happen is you're going to have many big players in the device and platform business, like say Apple. They're going to think about whether it's legally safe to keep Google search as a default option or as the main option in their handsets. So you're going to have a lot of this over the next couple of years. This is going to erode away at Google's dominant position in search. So this is a big deal, very big deal. Perhaps we are seeing the end of Alphabet. We'll see. We will see how this plays out. We have many years ahead of us. Elon Musk and Rumble, Twitter X. I always say Twitter X. X and Rumble, they are taking an advertising like organization. I'm not even sure what this organization is. They like deal with media advertising on social platforms, some sort of NGO or some sort of institution. I have no idea. Forgot the name. I think it's called Game or something like that. Let me see if I have it bookmarked. GARM, the Global Alliance of Responsible Media. They're taking them to court because X and Rumble, they are saying that GARM, what a terrible name, GARM. It sounds like a virus. GARM. Do you have GARM? I'm afflicted with GARM, the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, another one of these institutions that no one needs. But yeah, they're taking them to court. They're suing them because they are saying that they were smearing X and Rumble and making it so that big companies that are part of this alliance, this media advertising alliance, would not advertise with Rumble and X. So that's interesting as well. And finally, let's get to our clown worlds. I am very careful as I navigate this phone with one hand so as to not drop it in the water. That's why I may look a little strange here as I'm reporting the news. So let's do our clown world. The first clown world, actually both clown worlds, have to do with the F-16s. The F-16s in Ukraine. And the first clown world is that, according to these photos, once again, I can't say if this is 100% accurate. Maybe this is AI. I don't know. If it is AI, well then, sorry, I can't do anything about it. But it looks legit. These photos coming from the Ukraine government are telling citizens that they cannot name their kids F-16. They can't name them F-16 because it's against the law to name your kids a number or stuff like that. A dash or a number or God knows what. Oh man. Can you imagine naming your son or your daughter F-16? Is that a guy's name or a girl's name? Or is it both? Maybe it's both. I don't know. F-16. How you doing, F-16? I'm doing good. Man, that kid would undergo a lot of bullying. Oh boy. My name is F-16, but you can just call me F. Or you can call me 16. Or as George Costanza, 7. Remember that Seinfeld episode? He's going to name his kid 7 after Mickey Mantle. That's a much better name than F-16. Anyway, they're saying it's against the law. You can't name your kid F-16 because a lot of children in Ukraine were being named Javelin and Javelina and stuff like that. I actually read that some kids were getting the name Bayraktar after the Bayraktar drones. Bayraktar and Javelin, Javelina. Oh boy. Leopard. Leopard. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. So, one more F-16 story. And this is an article. I think this is from, I want to say a Norwegian publication, and it's been translated via Google Translate, but I couldn't track down the actual publication, the link to this publication. But the title is, "The F-16 is a game changer. Now Putin is struggling." Yeah, he's struggling, all right. He's struggling so much that that the rumor is that Putin is going to seek exile in Mexico. He's been invited by the government of Mexico to attend the inauguration of the new president. He has received that invitation, but yeah, Putin is not struggling. He's laughing. He's not struggling. That's for sure. But yeah, I would worry if I was Russia. I would worry because the F-16 is absolutely a game changer. Without a doubt, it's a game changer. Especially because Maverick and and Goose, they are going to be piloting the F-16s. Oh wait, Goose died. Goose died. It's Maverick and Goose's son, Rooster. Maverick and Rooster. They're going to be piloting the F-16. So, oh boy, this is bad news for Russia. Oh man, you're going to have Maverick, Rooster, and the Ghost of Kiev. They're going to be piloting the F-16s. Three of the best pilots in the world piloting the F-16s. Putin should be very worried. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. And go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch, or go to the Reverse Gear shop. This is a Duran hat that I'm wearing today, and this is a Reverse Gear t-shirt that I am wearing today. You will find the links in the description box down below. Take care.